Well, when we talk about changes of the world's only superpower, it's hard to ignore two people standing in its way. They are, of course, President Chavez of Venezuela and President Ahmadinejad from Iran. They're both bound by their opposition to Washington and share one powerful weapon in the form of oil. They may have started with different motivations, but they've ended up with the same goal. Since 2001, their friendship has provoked a wave of anti-Americanism that surely no one can ignore.
I feel I have met a brother and trenchmate after meeting Chavez.
Venezuela will stay by Iran at any time and under any condition.
In some ways, the two men make an odd couple. Hugo Chavez seems solid and bear-like, while Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is slighter of build. One wears a tie and the other is more casual. Chavez is a committed socialist and Ahmadinejad a faithful Muslim. But none of these differences has prevented them from becoming brothers and comrades. And for the US, their handshake always means one thing: trouble.
امپراتوری آمریکا در جهان به پایان راه خود رسیده است.
The American empire in the world is reaching the end of its road, and its next ruler must limit their interference to their own borders. Today, the thought of hegemony quickly becomes a demerit.
Just 4 years ago, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was a little-known figure in Iranian politics. But since his election in 2005, the 52-year-old has taken a tough stand on a number of foreign policy matters, especially with regard to the US. Ahmadinejad was born in Gamsah near Tehran in 1956. He's the son of a blacksmith and holds a PhD in traffic and transport from Tehran's University of Science and Technology. Once in power, he delivered a defiant speech at the UN on the nuclear issue and refused to back down on Tehran's decision to resume uranium conversion. His comments that Israel should be wiped off the map and that the Holocaust was a myth drew widespread condemnation from the West. Compared with Ahmadinejad, Hugo Chavez looks more like a warrior fighting his way up. He has seen his fortunes swing dramatically from success to failure and back again since his landslide victory in the 1998 presidential election. In July 2001, the leftist leader's supporters were out celebrating his re-election in the streets of Caracas, but by April 2002, a general strike embroiled the entire country. This admiral of Fidel Castro's Cuba was pushed from office on April the 12th. But 2 days later, after his supporters took to the streets, he was back in the presidential palace. All the while berating American hegemony, the Venezuelan president has kept close ties with the US, at least economically. Chavez provided the US with almost half of Venezuela's 3.5 million barrels of oil export. But when it comes to criticizing America, Chavez says he is second to none.
¿Qué cipote preocupados deben estar los gringos eso por las leyes habilitantes?
Why the hell gringos be worried about the laws in Venezuela? That is a sacrosanct legal authority of Venezuela. Go to hell, gringos. Go home. Go home.
Go home.
And Venezuela's connection with a country a third of the way around the world make many say a cauldron could be heating to a rapid boil toward America's south. Since 2001, the Iranian and Venezuelan presidents have made a point of high-profile friendship. They bask in their cozy comradeship and openly invite other Latin American countries to join them. And they call themselves the Axis of Unity. And the unity is far more than an ideological front. Under the banner of anti-Americanism, both countries have expanded their influence overseas. They pledged millions of dollars for rebuilding projects in Nicaragua, invested $1 billion more in Bolivia, and pushed for a common defense strategy against the United States. Iran's warming relationship with Venezuela has generated some 200 agreements. Chavez also became a leading defender of Iran's nuclear ambitions, while Ahmadinejad backed Venezuela's bid for a rotating seat on the UN Security Council.
While enjoying the success of their anti-Americanism, both Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and Hugo Chavez are facing problems at home. For Ahmadinejad, an election coming up in June, and for Chavez, he faces a referendum in just 2 weeks' time. When they met 8 years ago, both leaders enjoyed deep pockets of oil export revenues that would support their plans to challenge American dominance. But now, with oil prices falling dramatically, life is beginning to turn around.
While Mahmoud Ahmadinejad basks in media attention, his countrymen are more worried about how they're going to pay their bills. In the past few months, the price of Iranian oil has dropped between $50 and $60 a barrel. Low oil prices mean a growing budget deficit for Iran. For Ahmadinejad, a choice has to be made: cutting spending or printing more money. With inflation already over 25% and unemployment around 10%, neither option seems attractive.
When oil was nudging $150 a barrel, Iran's economy was doing okay. But with oil prices hitting $50 to $60 in the past few months, many economic problems have begun to emerge. Although it is still too early to predict the effect on the coming election, it has certainly had some negative impact on Ahmadinejad's popularity.
For Hugo Chavez, it's no better. Re-elected in December 2006, Chavez is not due to leave office until January 2013. But he's rushing to hold a referendum on a constitutional amendment that would remove the limit on further presidential terms. This measure has already been defeated once, back in December 2007, in a referendum on a wider bundle of constitutional proposals.
La opción del no, 4.504.354 con un 50.70% de la votación.
Now Chavez faces an uphill fight to get the amendment approved. He's still popular, with an approval rating of between 55 and 60% in most polls. But public opinion is also strongly against removing presidential term limits. And for all his talk of endogenous development and economic diversification, Venezuela is more dependent on oil now than it was when Chavez took power. As oil-induced economic boom turns to imminent bust, and with the referendum coming up in February, Chavez needs to move fast. For both Chavez and Ahmadinejad, 2009 is a critical year. With their anti-Americanism set against domestic problems, will they get the votes they need to remain in power?
Well, many people see it as a toss-up, but for the US, as we said, the world's only superpower, the coin is standing on its end. Who remains standing as a balancing force is a question that needs to be addressed. As troublesome as the US finds Chavez and Ahmadinejad, it may be a case of better the devil you know. With that, we come to the end of this special edition of World Insight. Thanks for joining us here, and have a great new year from all of us here at World Insight. I'm James Chow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.